The NTT IndyCar Series had to wait some 3 months to get the 2020 season going, but now the races are here and they are coming thick and fast. And this weekend here in St. Louis, a doubleheader of IndyCar action to follow the world's biggest motor race, last Sunday's Indianapolis 500.
Today, a centuries-long tradition will be renewed.
This is the Indianapolis 500. Green. Going around the outside. Dixon for the lead and gets it.
Now Rossi takes the lead.
Go. Clear out. Hey, watch your right.
There has been a penalty assessed to Alexander Rossi. Go to the back of the field.
Are you kidding me?
He's going to be furious.
Oh my gosh, what a move.
Clear.
Oh! Rossi is out of this 500.
We are going to be good on fuel. We can't afford to lead a lot, but we are good to lead some.
Can anybody catch Dixon?
Sato's the only one that's going to be a factor.
Side by side at the start-finish line. No attack, no chance. He'll take the lead to the short chute.
Spin in turn 4. You just bring it home, buddy. You bring it home.
Takuma Sato is a two-time winner of the Indianapolis 500.
We won it. Thank you, guys. Woo! I love you, Takuma. Unbelievable.
23 cars and drivers are ready to roll for the first of 2 races here in St. Louis this weekend at Worldwide Technology Raceway, with some threatening skies above, but the weather has been a little bit unpredictable. So even though the radar doesn't paint the rosiest of pictures, we'll be positive. I thought I was going to have trouble on my flight getting in here yesterday, and it was as smooth as can be. So let's take that approach and hope that we get all 200 laps, all 250 miles in, as we take a look now at the GMR track fact for this Bommarito Automotive Group 500. There's some important numbers on there. Look in yellow all the way to the bottom. Our very own PT won the first race here. There's been 10 different races, not 10 years in succession, but 10 different races here. And interestingly enough, there has been 10 different winners. Will that trend continue here today? And Team Penske has been the most successful of the racing organizations at WWT Raceway. We will see. It's time to go trackside for the Kanaan to get things going.
IndyCar fans, it's time for those most famous words in all of sports. Here to give the command, please welcome today's Grand Marshal, President of Bommarito Automotive Group, John Bommarito.
On behalf of the Bommarito family and the entire Bommarito Automotive Group team, I personally want to welcome those fans that are in the stands today. For those of you that could not make it, we're going to be right here for you tomorrow. Remember, this is a double header. In the meantime, get yourself out to Bommarito.com, where you can buy, sell, or trade your next vehicle. All right, let's get this race started. Gentlemen, start your engines!
Takuma Sato is going to try to become the first in 20 years to win the Indy 500 and the very next IndyCar event. But what struck me is the 43-year-old is talking more about championship. He's never finished better than 8th in points. He's 6th right now. I think we're seeing the maturity of this young man coming into his own. Hinch?
Guys, a lot's been talked about the gap that Scott Dixon has in the championship, but remember, we may almost be in September, but we're only halfway into this season. Guys like Joseph Newgarden knows there are still 7 races to go, 3 doubleheader weekends. It only takes 1 bad weekend for the 9 car for things to really wide open.
Gotta love John Bommarito's enthusiasm, don't you? That guy could sell you a car, no worries. And that enthusiasm has been here for this race for a long time. So, we're going to roll through the grid at the top of your screen. That's Will Powers' first oval pole since Pocono a couple of years ago, and his 59th career pole. But while the grid rolls along at the top of your screen, we need to walk you through the various onboard cameras, which always give us so much entertainment, especially on a short track oval like this. With thanks to Hitachi, this is Joseph Newgarden's view. We'll be going on board to that view many times for sure. How about starting on the front row? We've already heard from him. Pato Award with thanks to Arrow. and he is third in the championship. What can today yield for this exciting young man? His teammate Oliver Askew, with thanks to Mission Foods, will give us this view. Love this low-down shot. Up ahead, there'll be lots of action. NTT Data brings us Felix Rosenquist view in the number 10 Chip Ganassi Racing Honda. Another Honda is Graham Rahal, and with thanks to United Rentals, we have this view. Graham did it tough in qualifying. Can the race be better? He's hoping so. Zach Veach and Gainbridge, they're now in their third year of their partnership and relationship, and we'll look to their on board to see Zach maybe slicing his way through the field. His teammate from Andretti Autosports, with thanks to Auto Nation. This is Alexander Rossi, car 27, finished 27th last week at the Indy 500. Not where he hoped. He'll be looking to rebound today. His teammate is Ryan Hunter-Reay. And also, we say thank you to Auto Nation for bringing us RHR's on-board view. So there you have it. It's all set up, all ready to go. They're behind the Honda Civic Type R pace car, ready to roll. And look at this. We'll give you some important figures. And by the way, see Tony Kanaan there, who has completed the most laps. He's been really good at this track. It could very well be TK's last weekend of IndyCar racing. He's prepared to face that fact. Maybe we might see him next year on occasion, who knows, but he said he's gearing up for this to be his final weekend out. We'll see. And I know there's many people around the IndyCar world hoping that that is not the case. As TK saddles up one more time. Well, tomorrow that will be for AJ Foyt Racing. What do you see in your crystal ball, fellas?
I see that orange and blue number 9 of Scott Dixon looking strong to quite strong, not only in the championship, but just the way, if you think back to Texas, the first race of this season, Dixon was on another level, especially when it comes to consistency over the full stint on tires, Paul.
Yeah, tricky track here. Short corners, long straightaways. You make a mistake mid-corner, and it really opens the door for a guy to get a good run on you down the straight as they're getting all lined up. Lee, bring it to it.
How did you real quick? How did you get your win done? How were you victorious?
Well, you gotta be fast through 3 and 4. You really gotta time everything right.
It is time to bring the action. Short oval racing. 1 1/4 miles, the first of 2 races this weekend for the Bommarito Automotive Group 500, and Will Power back on the pole, but he's got a youngster who wants to make his mark in this series and in this IndyCar world. They're jumping out of line. There's a collision. Rossi, Pagano, Andretti, Carpenter,
Askew.
Oh my goodness.
Very late start, and everybody was keyed up to go. It looked like a bunch of cars jumped out of line and ran into the back of Pagano, which caused everybody to start spinning. We'll get a replay, but Rossi's just the season of misfortune just continues.
Pagano's able to get going again.
Looks like some left front damage, perhaps. The left front looks towed in. Rossi just has to be beside himself with the luck that he's had, or lack thereof, this season. It's just been a ridiculous amount of bad luck.
It's just been a total disaster for him this year. Just new contract coming into this year, long term, and just looking at the championship, he's going for somebody.
He's going to go talk to somebody. I don't know if it was Pagano that popped out early.
It looked further back, Towns. It looked like guys in the back were just jumping out of line, ready to go.
But Power really dragged a long time for the start there as they go down and talk to the 88. Looks like Colton Herder's crew. That's Brian Barnhart, who calls the race for Colton Herder, a teammate for Alexander Rossi.
Might be upset at his teammate.
Well, but he probably doesn't have a full slate of information. Neither do we, but we're about to. Let's take a look at what happened here. We're watching Simon Pagano there.
These guys in the back here start jumping out real quick.
Palou went first.
Yeah, no, it was Askew. Askew ran into the back of Pagano and kind of started the whole thing.
I know, but Palou kind of got the jump. Paul jumped out of line, and there goes Palou. There goes Pagano. Now Askew comes and to follow and has to jump on the brakes. And so it was 3 cars that thought everybody was going, and it all checked up, accordioned up, and we'll watch here from Rossi.
There's Colton Herder on the right there.
Green.
Three Andretti cars involved in that.
That jumped out was the initial car to jump out was Palou. He got away with all of it. So,
wow.
It looked like Palou was just, see, he's way out of line there, and look, he just kind of skates through the whole thing, Townsend, and he was the first out of line.
It was Askew into Pagano, and then that's what turned Rossi, and then these poor guys behind, Ed Carpenter, Marco Andretti.
Good driving by,
nowhere to go.
Good driving by Kanaan. He got through all of that unscathed in the big machine car.
Wonder if we can hear from Alexander Rossi. Hinch, you have him?
A good way to start our race here this evening.
Alexander Rossi, we saw the replays. Obviously, not the start you guys wanted. Where was it from your position?
I was driving straight. I don't know what you want me to say.
Have you seen the replay yet?
I have, yeah.
So who do you lay blame on for that?
I'm not laying blame. It's very reminiscent of a Michigan iRacing start at the beginning of the year.
Fair enough. Tough break for the 27 guys, but luckily we have another shot tomorrow to try to get that thing back up front.
Oh, at least he can have a laugh about it, right? It's like, what else can you do, right?
A significant multi-car pileup. Not the way that anyone was looking to start the first of 2 races this weekend here in St. Louis. What do you see in your crystal ball, fellas?
I see that orange and blue number 9 of Scott Dixon looking strong to quite strong, not only in the championship, but just the way, if you think back to Texas, the first race of this season, Dixon was on another level, especially when it comes to consistency over the full stint on tires, Paul.
Yeah, tricky track here. Short corners, long straightaways. You make a mistake mid-corner, and it really opens the door for a guy to get a good run on you down the straight as they're getting all lined up. Lee, bring it to it.
How did you real quick? How did you get your win done? How were you victorious?
Well, you gotta be fast through 3 and 4. You really gotta time everything right.
It is time to bring the action. Short oval racing. 1 1/4 miles, the first of 2 races this weekend for the Bommarito Automotive Group 500, and Will Power back on the pole, but he's got a youngster who wants to make his mark in this series and in this IndyCar world. They're jumping out of line. There's a collision. Rossi, Pagano, Andretti, Carpenter,
Askew.
Oh my goodness.
Very late start, and everybody was teed up to go. It looked like a bunch of cars jumped out of line and ran into the back of Pagano, which caused everybody to start spinning. We'll get a replay, but Rossi's just the season of misfortune just continues.
Pagano's able to get going again.
Looks like some left front damage, perhaps. Left front looks towed in. Rossi just has to be beside himself with the luck that he's had, or lack thereof, this season. It's just been a ridiculous amount of bad luck.
It's just been a total disaster for him this year. Just new contract coming into this year, long term, and just looking at the championship, he's going for somebody.
He's going to go talk to somebody. I don't know if it was Pagano that popped out early.
It looked further back, Townsend. It looked like guys in the back were just jumping out of line, ready to go.
But Power really dragged a long time for the start there as they go down and talk to the 88. Looks like Colton Herder's crew. That's Brian Barnhart, who calls the race for Colton Herder, a teammate for Alexander Rossi.
Might be upset at his teammate.
Well, but he probably doesn't have a full slate of information. Neither do we, but we're about to. Let's take a look at what happened here. We're watching Simon Pagano there.
These guys in the back here start jumping out real quick.
Palou went first.
No, it was Askew. Askew ran into the back of Pagano and kind of started the whole thing.
I know, but Palou kind of got the jump. Paul jumped out of line, and there goes Palou. There goes Pagano. Now Askew comes and to follow and has to jump on the brakes. And so it was 3 cars that thought everybody was going, and it all checked up, accordioned up, and we'll watch here from Rossi.
There's Colton Herder on the right there.
Green.
He never had a chance.
3 Andretti cars involved in that.
That jumped out was the initial car to jump out was Palou. He got away with all of it. So,
wow.
It looked like Palou was just, he's way out of line there, and look, he just kind of skates through the whole thing, Townsend, and he was the first out of line.
It was Askew into Pagano, and then that's what turned Rossi, and then these poor guys behind, Ed Carpenter, Marco Andretti.
Good driving by,
nowhere to go.
Good driving by Kanaan. He got through all of that unscathed in the big machine car.
Wonder if we can hear from Alexander Rossi. Hinch, you have him?
A good way to start our race here this evening.
Alexander Rossi, we saw the replays. Obviously, not the start you guys wanted. Where was it from your position?
I was driving straight. I don't know what you want me to say.
Have you seen the replay yet?
I have, yeah.
So who do you lay blame on for that?
I'm not laying blame. It's very reminiscent of a Michigan iRacing start at the beginning of the year.
Fair enough. Tough break for the 27 guys, but luckily we have another shot tomorrow to try to get that thing back up front.
Oh, at least you can have a laugh about it, right? It's like, what else can you do, right?
A significant multi-car pileup. Not the way that anyone was looking to start the first of 2 races this weekend here in St. Louis. We're back, but there's yet to be a single lap turned under green flag conditions. If you're just joining us, a huge wreck coming to the green flag here in the first of 250-mile races over this weekend, and the team that suffered the most is Andretti Autosport. 2 cars on the flatbed there. Zach Veach's Gainbridge Honda and Alexander Rossi's Napa Auto Parts Honda. Incredible, and Marco Andretti was involved in that. Alex Palou was the first one to jump out of line. Let's hear what his team boss Dale Coyne has to say.
Yeah, guys, I'm down here with Dale Coyne right now, whose driver started 11th, Alex Palou. He was the first car to pull out a line there that sort of started that. What has he said on the radio to you?
All he said on the radio was that everybody started checking up. That it was a very late green. I think everybody's got a 1/10 of a second different reaction time. When the cars are that close, that's what's going to happen.
Did he manage to avoid any contact?
He didn't hit anything. He got lucky, yeah.
All right, thanks very much.
Thanks.
I mean, that's exactly what happened. Nobody was going, and everybody was checking up, and he popped out a line to avoid hitting the back of another car, and everybody else decided to go. You know, you look at Veach in the back, came in, Townsend was going like 100 miles an hour.
I don't know where Veach was going. I mean, it looked like Veach saw an opportunity to maybe get some spots, but there was really no sunshine.
I tell you what, and although Oliver Askew was caught up in it, he escaped. That was the onboard from Zach Veach. So pit stops happening. Kevin Lee, take us away.
So you're seeing several, like Santino Ferrucci, just coming in to top off. No damage for him, none for Graham Rahal. Oliver Askew's going to get a new front wing. And Simon Pagenaud not only has the front wing damage, he says, I can't tell what gear I'm in. He got clobbered from behind as well, so he fears there's some rear end damage. So the first thing is the front wing assembly. They can get that changed under caution and not lose too many positions. And after they finish this, I suspect they'll go take a look at the rear and see if there's anything they can do, but major issues at this point. Let's check in with Hinch.
Zach Veach, Gainbridge Honda is not where you want it to be right now on the back of the truck. What did you see?
Yeah, man, for us, we just coming out of 4, I noticed the bottom lane checked up a bit, so kind of moved to the middle, and that's when I saw Pagenaud sideways. So from that point, everyone just kind of jammed on the brakes. We tried to stop the best we could, but it seemed like everyone was in the same position. It's just the window to escape closed so quickly that some of us are just left without an option.
Fair enough. Well, tough break. Luckily, get another shot tomorrow. Best of luck.
That is one positive side of it. There's Marco Andretti's car being taken back. We'll squeeze in a break now so we can show more green flag racing when we come back to Worldwide Technology Raceway. Dealing with a horsepower of a different kind right here. However, no horsepower on these 2 cars in a bizarre scene there. You don't often see that. A couple of team cars on the back of the flatbed going back to the paddock for repair for tomorrow's second half of the doubleheader. Ed Carpenter's US Air Force Chevy, it's getting repaired. And we are hearing penalties for the 55 of Alex Palou and also Oliver Askew in the Arrow McLaren SP Chevrolet.
I don't know about that.
Well, Askew was really the first car to make contact with Pagenaud, so maybe it's an avoidable contact penalty.
And for Palou, jumping out of line too early, braking protocol there.
We'd have to look to see how far past the start zone they would be, but let's hear a little radio from Pagenaud about the situation.
We're just going to have to work through this right now. The gearbox is okay. The problem is there's just no gear pot. So you're going to have to lift this ship the rest of the day.
So that means that you cannot do a full throttle upshift. So in an IndyCar, you do not have to lift off the throttle. You can just pull the upshift paddle and the computer will automatically cut the engine power. And Hinch, what do we see here with Ed Carpenter? Where are they standing?
They've decided to take the 20 car back behind the wall, fix what they can, and get it out there just to make sure that it's fine for tomorrow. But for essentially today, they're done.
Could use it as a little test session, get some laps in.
Tough for Carpenter, who went out on lap 1 at Indy last Sunday. out on lap 1 here as we come back to green, Diff.
All right, ready to do it again. Take 2. Let's see if we can get a clean green start. Will Power shoots off turn 4. Let's go. Let's get this going second time round. Pato Award will be watching for Dixon in that orange car. Ericsson's there. And here comes Jack Harvey on the inside.
Well, that was a pretty early start by Will Power. He went about 2/3 corner and got spread out, but Dixon now makes a mistake as his teammate Ericsson sweeps around the outside, tries for an outside move, 3 wide.
Harvey right around the outside. Beautiful move from Jack.
I think that was Sato down low, but Harvey, the brave one, working the high cushion early here as Dixon managed to hold off his teammate Ericsson. Let's see if he can close the gap as Newgarden makes a move on Sato into 1.
Really surprising Dixon has fell back that far. Big mistake by Hunter Ray at the apex, touches the curb, and it jumps sideways on him, and now he's trying to hold off Rinus VK.
VK on RHR. Connor Daly in the Gallagher, the blue car there ready to pounce. Hunter Ray has to let VK go by.
Oh, here comes Connor Daly. He got Hunter Ray got the air taken off of him. Connor Daly pops out big on the brakes, tells it down the inside.
That's what we saw last year from Connor Daly, the bravest driver. He loves firing into the inside and make the moves here. He loves this track, and he's going forward right now as long as he can hold off Hunter Ray here into 3.
Hunter Ray takes a look, but there's no option there. There's 2 grooves here. I've seen some outside passes. Santino on the outside right there, so we've got a 2-groove track.
The all-black number 14, the big machine vodka car of Tony Kanaan. He's got off to a nice start as well, but check this out on board. The Hitachi on board of Joseph Newgarden. There's Sato.
Sato has a little bit of a slide in the apex between 1 and 2.
Still down there.
Newgarden's got a toe now.
Outside, bottom's clear.
Oh boy, look at Harvey. What a move that was. But Newgarden's not giving up.
Clear by 2 wide behind us.
Awesome racing already. 2 grooves. Guys are trying inside, outside. Colton Herder now looking all over the back of Newgarden right there. He's got the inside line.
Up front, Pato Award has not let Will Power get away either. Less than half a second between first and second. But Jack Harvey, perhaps the most spectacular of the early phase of this race in that AutoNation Sirius XM Meyer shank car, the Honda. There he is right there. Beautiful outside move. Got 2 spots in the 1 move. He had his best ever start on an oval, and he is running well and running wild, and he continues to build his oval experience in an IndyCar. He sat in the grandstand here the last 3 years, Jack Harvey, and now he comes out in his first race here at this track at an IndyCar and is just shining.
Getting better and better with every oval, running strong at Indianapolis, running strong right now. Right now, though, Dixon has kind of fell off the back of Award. There's a pretty good gap there, and his teammate has kind of settled in, Marcus Ericsson. Harvey has closed the gap to these guys, and he has a big gap back to him, back to Newgarden.
Power, Award, Dixon, Ericsson, Harvey. Then there's that gap back to Newgarden, Colton Herder, Takuma Sato, and then Rinus VK, Connor Daly in the 10. There he is right there in that blue and white Gallagher Chevrolet.
Connor has loved this track from his very first test day here.
5 or 6, that will help.
So he's working Rinus VK and Sato there. That's the battle for 8th position. Connor currently sitting 10th.
Pace at the front with Power is pretty fast, and it doesn't take very long to start catching up to the guys at the back.
Who is right now.
Then you kind of stall out. You see what happens when Power starts to catch the lap traffic here, probably 8 to 10 more laps.
First car Power is going to catch will be his teammate Simon Pagenaud, who's clearly struggling after being hit from behind. To not be able to shift wide open with your foot to the floor is a huge disadvantage. You're going to lose a lot of time just accelerating down these straightaways, especially since this track typically is going to be a double downshift in 1, which means a double upshift required, and you're going to have to old school it and lift with every shift. So it'll be interesting to see how Pagenaud deals with Power as Power comes up to lap him.
Right now, Power's running about a second a lap quicker than his teammate Pagenaud. Askew and Rahal are all about a second a lap slower than him.
Need a bit better run off of 2,
Takuma Sato there in that Abim Consulting Honda. This past week has been even more manic in Japan than when he won his first Indy 500 in 2017. The show requests, he was on breakfast shows, he was on evening shows, just the amount of interviews that he's done, the increased interest level from sponsors. He has been very, very well received, the victory well received in his home country of Japan. His kids in Tokyo were watching on, and Dad sure did well last Sunday.
I talked to Takuma this morning and asked him about what's changed in the last few years that made him now one of the best oval racers in the series, a two-time Indy 500 winner now with 6 career wins, and he's won here, as Lee mentioned, last year. What's changed, Takuma? And he said simply, I now know, thanks to this Rahal team, what a winning car in an oval should feel like and what a win on an oval should work out to in terms of race strategy. He said, I've got total confidence now. I feel like I get it 100%, and it's just about going out and repeating the process week after week. So Takuma Sato might have taken him a little long in terms of age, Paul, but at mid-40s now, he is very much in the groove.
Well, he's very fit, he's very small, he's light, so that's all great attributes to have a fast race car, and he works at his craft. There's nobody that works harder than him.
And this guy here, Tony Kanaan, in his 382nd IndyCar career, 23rd year of competition, and Tony wears his heart on his sleeve. He knows that this could be a very emotional weekend if indeed it is his last, but we won't know that until next year. But he's saying we have to brace and embrace reality. Doesn't have a sponsor just yet. He told Kevin in qualifying show for next year he'd like to keep driving. He's one of the fittest athletes you'll find, and with his dear friends Scott and Mark Borchetta from Big Machine, they've been able to blend some business and friendship, and they've been together for a long time. And we take a look at Honda on the move. Kanaan's been on a nice move since the start of the race.
Seen that so many times from Tony Kanaan. He knows how to grab positions on the start, especially on an oval. Had a 3rd place finish here last year, of course, and be really cool to see them figure out how to get that 14 to the front. But they don't have as long as they did last year, just 200 laps with this year's race.
See the yellow, rather the red and white car? That's Marcus Ericsson in the Husky chocolate car, and he has got this very good sense of calm and confidence about him at the moment. He's really enjoyed working with his engineer Brad Goldberg. He likes the way that this car rolls off the truck, Kevin, and there he is tucked in behind his teammate, who just happens to be a 5-time series champion.
And just one more note on Marcus. I find him relentlessly positive, and so does the team. Doesn't kind of seem to have the reputation that some in Formula One have had, but you know what? The more people I meet in Formula One, that's not really the case. They come over here and they want to get after it. And Scott Dixon, as we take a look at Simon Pagenaud getting lapped by Will Power. By the way, Pagenaud is saying, are you sure the car is okay? Because it's really a handful. Dixon a little bit further back, so I asked him, you've got a massive lead in the championship. Do you change anything at all? And he says, no, we're still going for wins. So he's not content to just ride around in 3rd and collect points. Eventually, Dixon is going to attack, and he thinks he's got the car to do it in this race.
Ward makes short work of Pagenaud, and here comes Dixon, comes off the corner. I think they're both going to get him here, Townsend.
There goes Ericsson. One more spot. Pagenaud pretty hesitant with what he has under him after that first lap crash.
That was wild, with a 6-car pileup coming to the green. Highly unexpected for sure. Welcome back to the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. And those 500 miles are made up over 2 250-mile races. One today that you're looking at, one tomorrow, same time, 3 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN. And Will Power in the Verizon Chevrolet is leading. We're on board with his teammate, the Hitachi Chevrolet of Joseph Newgarden. We're going to lay out for a moment. No commentary. Let you go for a couple of laps around Worldwide Technology Raceway. Here we go.
working your tools to stay ahead of it. You're looking good, man.
.196 miles an hour, Townsend down the front straightaway in 6th gear. 3 downshifts down into turn 1, and Will Power's not really getting away from him. He's kind of just staying right there.
Well, I think if you're Will Power, you don't need to get away from a Ward. It'd be nice, but conserve tires, only burn the fuel you need to stay ahead. Give yourself options down the road, because right now, probably going to take 3 stops for all these front runners to make it to the end. Even though we had a bunch of yellow at the beginning, I think they'll still need to 3-stop this thing. There's a few cars that did duck in on that yellow to top up. Those are Tony Kanaan, Charlie Kimball, Graham Rahal, and Santino Ferrucci.
Car's lightening up with every lap. He's just catching the limiter at the end of the straightaway. You watch the steering wheel in the center of the steering wheel, 5th gear right there, and you'll hear it hit the limiter.
It's handling well in 1 and 2, just a little oversteering mid 3-4 in 5th gear.
Okay, copy.
So from Pato O'Ward to Michael Andretti, he's with James Hinchcliffe, and usually Michael's one of the more fortunate team owners. Today, very unfortunate.
Yeah, you're right, Lee. Michael, luck not on your side on that start there. What did you see there?
It looked like Pagano got hit from behind by a skew, and unfortunately, it looked like Zach didn't back off, and he took out 2 of our cars, because I think the other 2 probably could have kept going, but Zach never got out of the throttle and took 3 cars out.
So you're here now at Ryan Hunter Race Stand. What's he saying about the car? Is he your best shot at a good result today?
Yeah, right now the car's okay. It's just it's follow the leader racing at the moment. Everybody's just basically saving fuel, and you know it's one of those type races.
Are you guys trying to make it on 2 stops?
Sorry?
Are you guys trying to make it on 2 stops?
I don't think so.
Thanks very much. Guys?
That didn't sound very honest. I think they're going to try to make it on 2 stops. You got a smile under that mask.
I don't know. Will Power getting a little squirrely there. Pagano back out is currently 3 laps down, but it's not easy for Will Power, and I would bet he's on the radio saying, hey, give me some help here, man.
He's on fresh tires now. He came in and made some adjustments to that car, but he's going to let his teammate go by now. He's pretty much out of this race now. He just needs to survive. Pato O'Ward looks up on the top side and does the over-under, cross-under there. Nice move.
Got a car on pit lane. It is Graham Rahal, Kevin.
And Graham Rahal was one of those I really thought, like Townsend was talking about, would try to do it on 2 more. In fact, he told me, I'm hoping there's an early yellow. We'll come in and top off, and this explains it. That's why they came in, because they've got an issue.
Looking at the GCU here.
Something going on with the power plant back there, so.
See all the helitate coming off that covers up the seams of the engine.
3 and 4 is where my balance is bad. Just no rear grip at all. My right rear tire is getting really hot.
I wonder if they're going to make a setup change if he was so loose, Townsend, or if it's an engine issue. But look at Pagano just getting swallowed up by these cars.
Well, and stacking up a bunch of guys as Connor Daly makes a move on Takuma Sato. So that really is your best chance to make some moves. Is lap traffic, as Hunter Ray might have a big run here on Sato.
Big loose by Connor Daly mid-corner as he tried to go in on Pagano, but the door was closed. Sato takes a look.
Not into turn 3. Connor Daly says not up in here because that's his corner at this track.
By 3.
No one sends it into 3 like Daly. He just loves to fire it off into that high-speed corner. Hunter Ray, look at that, 3 downshifts, bam, 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 and now he's going to be all torqued up in the power band and see if he can make a run here on Sato. He's got a real good chance now.
Good exit there, good exit, but he's got to have a look, and it gets super tight. I've done this with Dario Franchitti, and it doesn't end well.
Thought about it and then thought twice. Sato wasn't backing off either. Talking about the fight for 9th place here. 2 Indianapolis 500 winners going at it.
So double downshift in clean air and a triple downshift in traffic.
Slightly different.
Hey, by the way, the problem with Graham Rahal is a shifting issue, so sometimes that can be electrical, electronics, and so forth. But car was never really handling to their liking, but now it's going to be likely a short day. Maybe they can get back out and run some laps and prepare for tomorrow.
Unfortunate for the United Rentals, Honda and Graham Rahal had a tough qualifying, not only for today's race, but for tomorrow's as well. Meanwhile, race leader Will Power just continues to maintain this lead. He's led all 54 laps thus far. He's had Pato O'Ward less than a second behind him the majority of the way. And then in third is Scott Dixon and Marcus Ericsson. Jack Harvey with a tremendous start to come up to fifth and running in really special air there. Now you get back to the Dale Coyne teammates. Alex Palou there in that blue, that black and kind of pink car, the 55. He was the one that pulled out of line early before all the mayhem happened. Now he's playing catch up.
Well, he got super loose at the apex. So you can see that car wiggling around as VK is right there on the back of him. But back to Graham Rahal for 1 second. He's sixth in the points. So this is really hurtful for him in the championship.
One of his comments, Paul, was, look, we had such a good weekend last weekend at Indianapolis. Have had a pretty good season, all bar one of the races at Road America and Texas. Let's keep the momentum going and let's build. And unfortunately, it's gone the other way, and it's going the other way rapidly for Simon Pagenaud as well, who lost 3 positions in the championship last Sunday. He's going to lose even more overnight heading into tomorrow's 9th round.
Big move by VK mid-corner. He takes a look. Palou blocks the move, but the door's open there. Nice pass.
A couple of the rookies learning their way around this track.
These guys are going to be easier, but watch the speed, timing.
Coaching for VK. Now he pitted on lap 49, it looks like. So fresh tires for VK.
Try and get them both in one shot here.
Try and get them both in one
Let's
shot.
roll with it.
Big move here. If he pops out, goes down the inside. Santino tries to cover, but he's there. Nice move.
Outside, clear.
Now this is going to be interesting to see how long
Get back
Ferrucci
into your rhythm and start
and
hitting your mark.
Askew
All
and
clear.
Kimball and Kanaan, how long can these guys hang on fuel? How far can they go on this first stint? Because they topped off on the last yellow. That's going to tell us a lot about how the strategy might play out later on in the race. But for VK on fresh tires, he's checked out and gone with great coaching from up above.
Pace has not really dropped off at the front. They're still running pretty quick laps. 26.1. The first 3 guys are all running about the same speed.
So 12 laps of caution to begin this race. So we should be seeing the front-running drivers here. What are we up to? We're coming up to, we're on lap 60. We should be seeing these guys in the next, what do you think? Next
Certainly
half a dozen laps?
In the next 10 laps, I would say. Those 12 laps of caution, plus the pace laps to start the race, have to be factored into the fuel burn. But the tire wear, surprisingly, looking very mild. Much less tire degradation than last year, as Joseph Newgarden is the first of the lead group to come down pit lane. Kevin, coming to you.
And we'll see Will Power in a moment, too. I think he might have been able to go longer, but he said, I'm really losing a lot of time with lap traffic here. So Joseph Newgarden is the first of the front runners to come in. Pato O'Ward is also making a stop. They're just a few laps short of being able to get it done on one more stop, so it is still possible. It's going to take a lot of yellow for this to happen. O'Ward coming into his box. The Arrow McLaren team was fantastic at the Indianapolis 500 to be able to pick him up 2-3 spots on each sequence. They'll do a little turn of front wing for the rookie in the Indianapolis 500, the best rookie, second year in IndyCar. He's back out. And the leader, Will Power, started from pole, has led every lap, is going to be making the slow drive down pit lane here. And he is going to have an easy in with an open box in front of him and an easy out as well. Power said very little on the radio, but a few laps ago did say I'm starting to go a little bit loose. So we'll see if they make any kind of a wing adjustment on the Verizon Chevrolet. No noticeable changes, and Power is back out.
Slightly slower stop than Pato O'Ward, so we'll watch the undercut here. Here comes Pato, I think, in turn 1. And I think he's going to get him. He's long gone.
He's in a little bit of traffic, though, right there with Tony Kanaan, but he's got Will Power in the crossover
perfectly.
Meanwhile, Scott Dixon stays out. Where will Dixon blend? When will he pit? How fast can he go with clean air and make up the gap?
By the way, guys, report from race control that the 22, the Menard Chevrolet Simon Pagenaud, as he comes in again. Race control is keeping a really watchful eye on him of being within the performance window. Hinch?
Alex Palou came in for his stop. No changes to that car. He says he's actually pretty happy. Obviously lost positions there with that penalty, but he is happy with the race car, and he is back underway.
Dixon finally in, so too Colton Herder in the background. So working lap 66, 65 in the books for Dixon, Kev.
Marcus Ericsson, his teammate, just came in a moment ago. Scott Dixon is going to have to go around his teammate Felix Rosenquist guys, but they'll move the tire out of the way, as you see. So it's a pretty easy in for Scott Dixon. He told me we didn't really even try to set up the car for qualifying. The balance was based on the race. We think we're going to be good, just a very slight wing adjustment. Scott Dixon is back out. Watch the blend, guys. Did they pick up any time by staying out longer?
He's going to get power, but he's not going to get Pato O'Ward. Pato's checked out, but I think he's got power. So the undercut and the overcut worked on power. So what do you do with that?
Wow. Dixon went farther than anybody there. Made the lap time count when he had clean air. Now he's on fresh tires just like Power. This is probably Power's only chance to make a move on this stint right here.
So much time can be gained here, Hinch, on getting onto the pit road and getting off. You've got long warm-up lanes here. It's so critical to be fast through those sections, and it looks like both of these guys were quicker because the stops were really all about the same.
Yeah, honestly, it's such a big part of the pit sequence, especially in a place like this. You think back to Indianapolis, once you release the pit lane speed limiter button, you're pretty much full throttle out of the pits around that first warm-up lap. Here at Worldwide Technology Raceway, that is not the case. You really have to drive the car on those warm-up lanes, and you really have to hustle with those cold tires, that full tank of fuel, car running a little bit lower in the corner. So this is a very, very big track to gain time there.
Look at this. Talk about crushing it on a green flag stop for a young driver like Pato O'Ward to clear almost 5 seconds, well, a little more than 5 seconds on Will Power on the exchange. Something must have happened to Power with traffic because O'Ward just nailed it in all phases. Excellent stop. It was 7.2 seconds. But the in-lap and the out-lap, Paul, were sensational.
Yeah, those Aero McLaren guys, Hinch, you can say they're one of the fastest in the pit lane.
First and second in the pit stop competition last year at Indianapolis, as we see Pato really hustling through here. As you can see, he's working the wheels as hard as he can. There's no grip down there, but that is an impressive outlap.
He is driven, so driven to become an IndyCar race winner. He's trying to clear Santino Ferrucci here. Different pit sequence there between those two guys. And Ferrucci is hanging tough on the low line. O'Ward the outside and couldn't execute the pass. Hang on, Pato. Wow. Almost got it done on that high line.
That was sketchy. He tried to, Santino did not want to get lapped, and he went for the outside move, Townsend, and got up in the dirty part, nearly lost it.
And I'm a little surprised that Ferrucci was only able to go as far as lap 68 because he was one of those cars that topped off under yellow. But to your point, Paul, that was the fight to stay on the lead lap and give yourself a chance to stay on the hunt today.
Because O'Ward's teammate right behind him, Oliver Askew, is not on the lead lap. O'Ward, the youngster, leads the way here in St. Louis. You're watching IndyCar racing from St. Louis, but a reminder, plenty of NASCAR action tonight. NASCAR America kicks things off at 6 p.m. Eastern right here on NBCSN, then Countdown to Green, and then Cup Series racing on NBC at 7. It is the 26th race of the regular season before the playoffs begin, and it is pressure time, guys, on a friend of ours and a 7-time champion, Jimmy Johnson. He's on the outside looking in. Can he make the playoffs? Townsend, yes or no?
Well, he's going to need luck. He's going to need help maybe from his teammates to help protect that number 48. Such a crapshoot down there at Daytona, but based on the way Jimmy Johnson ran last week, Paul, I think momentum's on his side.
It is, but he's got to beat his teammate. He's the next guy in line, so it's going to be tough because Daytona, you never know what's going to happen. There could be a crash to get involved, and if he stays out of trouble, I believe he'll make it.
And you never know what's going to happen here either at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Simon Pagenaud, last year's Indy 500 champion, caught up in a coming to the green, like before the race crash. And Kevin, race control deemed that he did not meet the 105% performance window or barrier. He's been asked to withdraw from this race.
And as we told you a little while ago, Simon was wondering, is there still something wrong with the car because it was just evil? That's no fun at all, Simon. Are you just happy simply just to have this day done? Because I can't imagine that was a lot of fun driving around like that.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
I'm sure it wasn't a lot of fun driving around with that wounded car.
No, it's definitely not fun, but yeah, I just feel sorry for Chevy, for Menards. I think we had a good car today and just never even got a chance to really test it for tomorrow. Just a little too much excitement at the start of the race from the back of us. So yeah, real shame.
And you just got clobbered from behind. Nothing you can do. Clobbered from behind and nothing you can do.
Now the front slowed down. I don't know if it's the accordion effect or whatever that was. So we had to pull out with Palou, and then all of a sudden behind it just hit us. So yeah, it is what it is. It's very unfortunate. There's too much excitement for sure. People need to just be a bit more patient.
Good luck tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah, you got to feel for Simon Pagenaud. It's a guy who never gives up. He had no choice today. Race leader is Pato O'Ward. He leads Scott Dixon by more than 1.5 seconds. Will Power, who led the first 61 laps of this race, he's back in third, and Jack Harvey has been able to leapfrog his way in this Meyer Shank AutoNation Sirius XM Honda up to fourth. His best result on an oval is 7th, and that was earlier this year in both races at Iowa. He's running in 4th and has never raced an IndyCar on this track. That's a huge effort.
Certainly is, and he's right now content to ride and sit this out and see what happens. But Townsend Pato O'Ward has really found his feet again in IndyCar. He started out last year really as the darling of IndyCar with all those wild passes he made, and then Formula One came knocking, and he went to Europe, and it really didn't pan out for him. And now he's, got a lifeline from Zach Brown, and he's really making the most of it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just think about how strong he was on a permanent road course at Road America. Excellent job in the Indy 500 last Sunday. Now leading on arguably one of the trickiest ovals on the schedule.
Someone else who's been having a promising run today is Colton Herder. He's been in the top 10 all the way through. Here he is here in the Capstone Turbine Honda, and he was one of the Andretti Autosport cars that did not skip the Andretti Harding Steinbrenner entry. Good to see Capstone colors on that car. They're the largest manufacturer of the micro turbine energy systems, and they've been a good supporter of Colton's now for 2 years. And Colton is doing well, and he needs to get a couple of good results here to get himself a little higher up in the championship. But with that being said, he is the only Andretti Autosport car in the top 10 in the championship.
Dixon's got to be careful here as they see Graham Rahal still in the car rolling it back, but Townsend Pato O'Ward is not afraid to bang wheels. Think back to Elkhart Lake with Dixon's teammate Rosenquist. They were banging wheels for the win, and I don't think Dixon's going to want to get involved in that. What do you think?
Well, I think Dixon, probably more than any other driver in the field, knows how to make those critical decisions at key moments that lead to championships. And I agree, O'Ward really wants a win. I mean, it was on there at Road America when Dixon's teammate Rosenquist had the speed, had the muscle to get by. But boy, it sure seems like O'Ward and that team with Craig Hampson at the helm engineering the overall program, they just have found the setup sweet spot, because this car is handling beautifully today.
And his strategist Taylor Kyle, who's the managing director of Arrow McLaren SP, he's calling some pretty good shots and is a good steady hand for this guy to lean on and making full advantage of it. Pato O'Ward out front, almost at the halfway point of the first of 2 races in this weekend's Bommarito Automotive Group 500. Rounds 8 and 9 of the 2020 NTT IndyCar season here in St. Louis. And you're looking at the Hitachi Chevrolet there of Joseph Newgarden's Rinus VK, the rookie from the Netherlands, dives for pit road. He was on a totally different strategy to the others. He was up there in the top 10. He pits from 6th position, but it had been a long while since he had pitted. So let's see how this shakes out.
Car slow to go up right there. Tricky pit lane to get it on and off.
Didn't have to wait long, though, on the tires. They were able to go on fuel. I like this strategy from the 21 team. See if you can get VK out in some clean air on a 3-stop strategy and try to leapfrog some guys. It worked the first time, but now he's going to have to go long on the next 2 stints to make it to the end. But I like this call. I think it's a smart call going for the win with a rookie driver.
There has not been a Mexican IndyCar driver go to victory lane since Adrian Fernandez more than 15 years ago. This could be a huge day for Pato O'Ward. Came so close at Road America earlier this season, where it came down to the last lap, and it was a really fierce fight between himself and Felix Rosenquist, and Rosenquist won out in the end. It was going to be a first-time winner either way who came across the line, and that has just been eating away at Pato O'Ward. There's Taylor Kyle. I was mentioning him before we went to the break. He's in a big position for a young man. He's got a terrific head on his shoulders, and he knows how to manage these guys very well. These young guys, Askew and Pato O'Ward, and they've really reveled in this new formation of Arrow McLaren SP. The last 2 Indy Lights champions. This man here, Pato O'Ward, won the Lights Championship in 2018, and Askew won it last year, 2019.
He's in a nice position here, Townsend, because he's got his teammate a lap down as a buffer. And Kevin, we got Newgarden coming in early as well.
And Joseph Newgarden was the first of the lead group to pit the last time as well. So this time he only went about 41 laps. Will Power is also coming down on the early side of things. So I think they've essentially decided we can't get them right now on the track. We're within the window to make it a 3-stopper. So let's go ahead and come in now and see if we can find some clean track and run some fast laps.
Well, that was a lot faster stop. The last one was a 7.8. That was a 6.3, Townsend. So the in and the out, he knew he lost on last time. We'll see if he makes it up here as Hunter Ray comes in. Plugging it in. Tires going on.
Drop wing adjustment. Connor Daly going with the same strategy. So now if you're Pato O'Ward and Taylor Keel, you've got to think about maybe coming in as Jack Harvey pits from 4th place. Hinge, down to you.
Jack Harvey having a phenomenal run here inside the top 5, hits his marks perfectly. He's got scuffed Firestone tires going on that car. They would have scuffed him in practice. Speedway fuel is in. No changes to the number 60. That was a phenomenal stop from the Meyer Racing crew.
Pretty impressive that they matched Team Penske to the 10th on that pit stop. Such a huge demand on the tire changers. Let's see where Jack Harvey cycles back out.
O'Ward and Dixon still on track. O'Ward has pulled away from Dixon 2 seconds, so we'll see if they peel off here and come in the pit lane here in the next couple laps. So right now, O'Ward is really in control.
So there goes Newgarden VK past Jack Harvey, so it looks like he'll lose a couple spots on that exchange. But O'Ward stays out.
Look at the pace here. The guys on new tires right now. 25.6 for Newgarden, at 26.0 for O'Ward on those old tires. So really not a huge amount of fall off.
Not at all, especially when you consider VK's been out there for a few laps after his pit stops doing a 25.7.
Guys, I want to show you something about passion and enthusiasm. Look in the background here at Harvey's stop for a gentleman standing in a pink shirt. Right there, back left. He's clapping his hands already. That's Jim Meyer, as in Meyer Shank Racing. Joined Mike Shank a couple of years ago. He is the CEO of Sirius XM Satellite Radio. He's an Indianapolis man, and boy, does he love IndyCar racing. And he works in a combination of New York City, of course, where Sirius headquarters are, but home is Indianapolis. And he just thinks the world of this driver and this team and this sport. I think that's pretty cool when you've got an executive in that position who loves coming to the racetrack on weekends. Caution is out.
Oh, this is
Not good for everybody that just pitted.
Yes, this is great for Award because he's got a whole bunch of guys a lap down now.
Oh, and we understand that there's weather in the area, and I immediately look to the upper left-hand corner of the screen. We are past halfway.
Yes.
The radar was not looking good for a long time. It still doesn't look that great.
And guys, I think that's why you didn't see Pato Award, Scott Dixon, and others come in. They didn't have to yet, so two-ply. One, if you come in and someone else doesn't and it goes yellow, you're a lap and a half behind. So you got to run as far as you can. But they also knew that there's a chance it might start raining here at this point. So there are several hoping this passes through very, very quickly.
Rain on the camera right there in the upper corner. So the strategy is exactly played right. I'm surprised that a lot of these guys took a pit stop right at the halfway point when they knew weather was coming.
They have to be looking at the same radar we are.
Excellent performance from Pato O'Ward. He's led 42 laps today. Not quite as many as Will Power led in that opening stanza of the race, but really good. This is a massive moment in this young man's career. It's not like he hasn't led an IndyCar race before. He has, and did it well at Road America earlier this year. But to be on a short, demanding oval where he didn't win in Indy Lights, by the way, he finished on the podium here in Indy Lights, but to be at the head of this field, he's fresh from winning the Rookie of the Year at the Indy 500, top 3 in the championship. Things are really starting to come together for Pato O'Ward.
Townsend, check your paper there, and how many laps does he have of fuel left? Because if we keep circulating under yellow, might be a chance that he could run out of fuel if he only has 4 or 5, 6 more laps.
I think he's going to be all right. It really depends on what race control does here under this yellow with weather. Pato last pitted on lap 62, so I think max range 61, excuse me. Max range about 60 laps. Now these laps will be under yellow, so he could go a little farther than lap 121, 122, Kevin.
Exactly. I think there's still quite a ways. Now you're right. If they decided to circulate for a half hour or so, they'd be in difficulty. But they've under yellow. I think it's going to be quite a while. They weren't even thinking about pitting.
We'll pit when the pit's open, okay?
So there you go. That was Taylor Kyle talking to Pato O'Ward. When they open, they'll come in, because you still got to plan on the race going to distance and this passing through. So there you're thinking as well that, all right, this is not going to be a drencher. If you thought it was going to pour, you would just simply continue to circulate until they red flag the race. But they obviously think that this is going to pass and we're going to resume racing.
In which case, this yellow flag pit stop is massively important. And if you're Pato O'Ward, you've been leading comfortably. I think the last thing you want to do is end up with a shootout on pit lane.
That was the United Rentals Honda of Graham Rahal exiting pit road after spending a prolonged period back behind the wall.
So right now, Power is a lap down to O'Ward. At this point, the race now is really between Dixon, Ericsson, Herder, all these guys that didn't pit. Sato has jumped from 13th back up into the top 6. He was falling backwards, and by staying out, it has put him back in contention.
And if Power and Newgarden will all stay out for sure as the others pit, go to the front, and then get the wave around.
If you remember, last year it was Sato and Kanaan, Carpenter and Newgarden who benefited from staying out, and then a yellow flew, and here we have it again, and 2 of those 4 drivers have benefited from this, with Sato and Kanaan in 6th and 7th.
Oval racing and road course racing strategy is completely different. On ovals, you want to stay out. You don't want to pit in case it goes yellow. On a road course, you want to pit, because if it goes yellow, you go to the back of the field.
Running around in 6th gear, and I'm just looking at the aero screen windshield there for Pato O'Ward, and I just don't see any evidence yet of a sprinkle, but IndyCar must know that something's coming or almost here.
All right, we're under caution. We'll sneak away for a quick break, come back. It's been a pretty crazy day on this doubleheader weekend.
We are past the midway point, under caution at the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. Raindrops, pits are open. Here come the leaders. Pato O'Ward, the rookie, winner of the Indianapolis 500 Rookie of the Year, is in first. He's about midway through the pit lane. They've been excellent on stops, and they get away quick. We'll watch the race further up. Scott Dixon has pit out, so he had a little tougher end. Award is not quite getting there. That's almost a dead heat off. I think Award had him. Marcus Ericsson is going to come out third. And then Felix Rosenquist. So the Ganassi 3 out there, and Award did win the race off pit road.
That was close. That was a great one because Award had to get in and out of the box. Dixon had a straight shot out on full launch, so that was really close. That's good stuff.
So too from the NTT Data Honda and the Chip Ganassi racing team for Felix Rosenquist. He jumped up a position on that PNC Bank race off pit road. There you have it, as close as that. Dixon closest to us, and camera, Award on the other side. That was super tight. Now you'll see Marcus Ericsson and Felix Rosenquist coming out.
Yeah, so that's not an easy out for Award right there at all. Lots of wheel spin, so you're losing a little bit of time there, and you see Dixon launches it out right there, so awesome stuff.
Clear.
Talking about a 21-year-old second-year driver up against a 5-time series champion and the points leader, and the driver who won 3 races to kick this season off. Pato Award knows that he's in pretty special company, but not intimidated by it.
Lap cars getting the wave around, so they'll get back to the lead lap now, put them back in sequence.
Go to the tail end of the lead pack. And then you'll probably see a lot of them top up.
As of right now, here's
watch Award here again. This is what Paul was talking about. Nice smooth stop. Everything's good, but Dixon doesn't have to go around anybody. Look at Award. He's got Sato's guys. You've got someone just with their feet hanging out, and you've got to flick the car and get around and not lose the power. And there you're watching Dixon just almost get you to the line.
So here's the scenario, guys. I mean, it's kind of tight to make it to the end. 60 laps.
Keep my thing taut.
We're just shy of that now. And these guys, if they top up here in a few more laps, will be pretty good to go.
I think the guys that all pitted like Newgarden, Power on lap 100, they could all make it on one more stop, but the advantage could be taking fresh tires here.
Pits are open for the wave by cars, and you just heard that radio transmission in the background. They're saying one more stop. So whether that was Taylor Kyle to Pato Award, it was difficult to hear, but so if you just turned on this race, even before they got to the green flag, there was a 6-car pileup. Marco Andretti, Rossi, Veach out of the race, and many others. I'll tell you more about that in a moment, Kevin.
Taylor Kyle's the managing director of Aero McLaren SP. Well, you got your driver, your young driver out front. One more stop, right?
Yeah, it's one more stop, we think, for everybody. So I told him on the radio it's going to be a gunfight to the end.
Have your pit guys given him a chance to win this race?
Yeah, absolutely. Our guys have kept us in it at Indy. They kept us in it here, and Pato's driving a great race, so couldn't be happier.
What can you tell a young driver with a guy who's won 49 races and 5 championships behind him?
Focus forward.
That's it, and Pato Award is focused.
And the team's primary sponsor, Arrow Electronics, had a 5-year plan, and that 5-year plan included winning, of course. They invested a lot of money with the organization, with Sam Schmidt and Rick Peterson. McLaren came on board as a partner. McLaren back in IndyCar racing full-time for the first time since the late 1970s. Big risk with 2 young drivers, but so far so good. And here are the Team Penske duo in.
Fuel only, fuel only.
Fuel only on Joseph Newgarden.
Interesting strategy there. They didn't want to lose any of those positions, Townsend, and taking the tires. Nobody took any tires there. So.
Well, they didn't have many laps on those tires.
Yeah, the Meyer Racing crew, after a really quick stop last time, had a little bit of a hiccup on the right rear, so lost a bit of position there, but they did get a new set of Firestones on. They're good to go.
Yeah, they really cycled to the back there, all the way back to 17th from the top 4, so that yellow was not timely for him.
All right, getting closer to coming back to green. The weather has stabilized enough for us to resume this race.
Ganassi with 3 of the top 4 right now.
Yeah.
And Pato O'Ward going to have a Ganassi armada in his mirrors on this restart.
It's when you look at a one-on-one fight, a youngster who's had no IndyCar wins versus one of the best all-time and certainly the best in the modern era in Scott Dixon, who's broaching his 50th win. How about Tony Kanaan? TK's up there in that Big Machine Vodka Chevrolet for AJ Foyt Racing, the all-black car, as the 21-year-old Mexican driver lights it up. He's keen to get a quick start. Let's go racing again.
Youth and experience right here. You got Dixon, the experienced one, all these young guys, and look at Herder around the outside of Rosenquist.
Sato around the outside.
Rosenquist with a big slide, almost lost it with Colton Herder on the high side.
Everybody stacked up behind Graham Rahal, or Sato right there.
Ferrucci around the outside of Sato. Sato almost lost it as well. On board with Rosenquist.
Ferrucci now making big moves. He was almost a lap down to the leader, Pato O'Ward, and now he's back in the mix.
Now Rinus VK making a move on Rosenquist. So Rosenquist in the span of 2 laps has dropped.
He got
several positions.
He got swallowed up on that restart.
Well, he's probably swallowing to just try to regain his breath because he had such a big moment in the middle of 1 and 2. A remarkable save. Watch this.
Got a pretty big gap, and so it wasn't like he was really stacked up, but he had Herder right there. And he jumps sideways big time. And everybody goes filing by on the inside. Look at Santino thread the needle.
That was so close to collecting Colton Herder's left rear. See Sato up ahead. He went sideways as well as Ferrucci went right around the outside.
Keep focusing forward. One's on the box.
So O'Ward already has pulled out a 1 second lead. His car is super strong, and Rosenquist here still hanging on. Here's another angle here. Herder just perfectly placed.
What a terrific job from Rosenquist to hang on with the 88 car of Herder just inches from his right front at about 130 miles an hour. Great piece of driving. Unfortunately, he's going to have his work cut out for him with 75 laps to go as Barry Wanzer gives the young Swede an update on a radio.
What about the Sealmaster Honda of Santino Ferrucci from the start of this race to now? Has made up 15 positions. There is the bright yellow car. He finished 4th at the Indy 500 last weekend in a career-equaling best. Boy, would he love to be on the podium here. He should have won this race realistically last year. He led 97 laps, more than anyone in the race, but he didn't come up with a victory. Maybe it might be today, who knows?
And just back from Ferrucci is Takuma Sato, last year's winner, and then Tony Kanaan in that black AJ Foyt number 14 hanging on, but he's got Rinus VK all over him. But Kanaan so far up 14 positions. He was on the podium last year. So all kinds of stories through the field here as Will Power trying to figure out how to get around Charlie Kimball there.
It's really a story now of youth and experience. All these young guys so aggressive and they attack all the time from start to finish. You got Dixon, the veteran, Sato, Kanaan fighting off all these kids in their early 20s.
VK's kind of on an island. If you look as far as the top almost dozen cars, he stopped on lap 97, everyone else lap 115, and even later again if you look at Will Power on lap 119. So one more stop to do. We'll see how far he can stretch it and how it's going to work as we work lap 130, 71 laps to go.
You only have to make it about another 10 laps before you can start thinking about gambling and pitting under green and trying to do the undercut. We'll have to see when we come back what the right call is going to be.
Pato O'Ward, an Indy Lights champion of 2 years ago, could be an IndyCar race winner. Still plenty of work to do though. Welcome back. Lee Diffie, Townsend Bell, Paul Tracy with you, along with Kevin Lee and James Hinchcliffe. The mayor of Hinchtown is out of the car and behind the mic, and we are going to take you through the field, brought to you by Guaranteed Rate. Kevin Lee, kick us off.
Diff, when newcomers to IndyCar see the name Award, they think he is of Irish descent. And he actually is, but it's many, many, many generations ago. His family has been in Mexico for several hundred years, but he spent about half his life in Texas. I also sensed a calmness after finishing the Indianapolis 500. Remember, he got bumped last year. He's relaxed. He's in position to win his first IndyCar race, Hinch.
Scott Dixon has an amazing win record. We all know that. What's lesser spoken about is his second place finish record. He has 48 of them, second on the all-time list. Chip Ganassi loves to say if you can't win, finish second. It's those second places that put together championship runs. That's why he's got 5 of them. He's sitting there now today. He was second last week, but he's going to be trying to get that 50th win.
Takuma Sato, last week's Indy 500 winner, last year's Bommarito 200 winner, started 5th, fell back through the field, but a well-timed pit stop has cycled him back into contention, currently running 6th and working on Santino Ferrucci.
Another one to keep your eye on in the field is the Gallagher Chevrolet driver, Connor Daly. From 2 races here, a 5th and a 6th, but that 6th last year was spectacular. He started further down the order than where he would like today in 16th place. At the moment, Connor Daly runs 13th. That doesn't represent his speed and how good that car is today. We'll see how it works out for him, T-Bell.
Further back is Jack Harvey, a little unlucky on timing. He was running a strong 4th earlier this race, but he's riding a wave of momentum. After coming off a 9th place finish in the Indy 500, he continues to learn and improve, and that small team riding a wave of enthusiasm for the Drive Pink campaign from AutoNation. They've raised over $30 million for cancer research. What a great program. SiriusXM also on that car. Harvey trying to get back into the mix.
And Jack at the moment runs in 16th place. A little further up the field is the Husky Chocolate Honda of Marcus Ericsson of Sweden, one of 2 Swedish drivers in the IndyCar Series in 2020. And Ericsson is hanging in there. Here he is. He crashed out heavily in the Indy 500 last week, and he said, I hit the wall twice, right, Paul? And it wasn't the first impact, it was the second impact that really hurt. But he said, I'm okay, I'm back on the gym, I'm back on the bicycle. And he said, I really love this place, and I feel good, and his position represents that feeling.
It certainly does. He's hanging in right there behind his teammate, content to ride right now. He said it at the Indy 500. You know, the first hit wasn't so bad until I knocked off all the wheels in the side pod, and then I hit the second time, and there wasn't any cushion down, so
no cushion at all. I wonder what kind of cushion Ericsson might give Scott Dixon in the closing laps, because for Ericsson it'd be his first win. For Dixon, the championship leader, he probably doesn't want his teammate pressuring him. But remember back to Rosenquist at Mid-Ohio last year, giving Dixon an awfully hard time as Rosenquist was chasing his first win. So that's going to be fun to see how it plays out with 55 laps to go.
Right now, Pato Award has moved up to 2nd in the championship ahead of Joseph Newgarden. Simon Pagenaud has fallen down to 6th. So things are changing quickly in the championship.
Kevin?
Hey, remember what Santino Ferrucci did at Indianapolis last week? Went from beyond mid-pack up to the front to finish 4th, and he controlled this race. Probably should have won it last year, except for an untimely yellow. Well, he's charged up to 5th in this race. Likes the car here, like everybody else, or almost everybody else. One more stop. Let's hear what they're talking about on the radio.
All right, bud. You can use map 4 for the rest of the race if you want, but it doesn't hurt to save a little fuel if you can't go anywhere. It's up to you. We want to keep contact here, though.
And by the way, Will Power did pit just a little while ago. He's a lap down, but he's the only one that is going to be able to make it the rest of the way. He came in on 134, but he's best 1 lap down, so he's not totally out of it if these cars have some issues.
Well, it's a stretch because he won't have to pit again, but Townsend, if it's a late caution and these guys have to pit, he's going to have pretty old tires to try to hold these guys off on new tires.
Everybody with one more stop to go. Wonder when that'll happen, except maybe Will Power. He'd have to go awfully far to make it. Will Power last pit on lap 134.
BK taking a look at coming in, and he is.
So this will be VK's final stop. He's been pitting a little earlier than the rest of the field. So with 50 laps to go.
And he pits from 8th position. It's been a really good run for the Sonax Chevrolet driver, the 19-year-old from the Netherlands. VK and the Ed Carpenter Racing team have done a really super job. Ed was his team boss and teammate, was one of those caught up in that 6-car pileup coming to the green flag. So that should do VK. He does not need to stop again, but who knows what the final 50-odd laps are going to give us here at Worldwide Technology Raceway, an event that has been led for 83 laps by this man here, 21-year-old Mexican driver Pato O'Ward. Big character out of the car and big talent behind the wheel. And he's got a 5-time champion breathing down his neck, only half a second behind. Harvey, Hunter Ray, they're on pit lane, hopefully for the final time here.
Jack Harvey putting on a set of stickers after using scrubs in the last run. He's very upset that they got cycled to the back with that yellow, but he is off and away.
Looks like Pagenaud's back out as Connor Daly comes in for service. So these guys, Townsend, are all starting to try to make it to the end now early as Pato O'Ward and Dixon stay on track. It'll be interesting to see how long these guys go, how long they stretch it out.
I think that was Pagenaud's Menard Chevy being wheeled back, PT. I think they were just taking it back behind the wheel. There it is, yeah. Yeah.
Say tried to come out and run again, but he got black flags, so they've ruled him out for the day, as there's Alexander Rossi's car getting fixed for tomorrow's race. Don't forget there's a race tomorrow, and he's going to be starting up front again, as well as this guy. He was the best overall qualifier, Townsend, for both days.
Here comes Felix Rosenquist to pit lane. Number 10 NTT car coming to Kevin Lee.
And he's been getting better fuel mileage, but they were going to need a lot of yellows to be able to make it work. So they're going to go ahead and get in here and be safe to run the rest of the way. Still a lot of scenarios involved, depending on if there's any or if there's a lot of caution. Felix Rosenquist of the 3 Ganassis, by the way, is the one that hasn't really seemed comfortable this week, and it's been a challenge, so just trying to kind of salvage. And keep in mind, you can learn something because you're coming back tomorrow afternoon as well.
Topped up with Speedway fuel and some fresh Firestone Firehawks, and Rosenquist is released. Who else we got on pit lane?
Hearing that teammate Marcus Ericsson there coming in, Diff. So now one of the front runners coming in. The only risk here is if a yellow comes out. That's why O'Ward and Dixon, I think, will push it as far as they can.
And an opportunity for Ganassi here. They can do slightly different strategies, at least with Scott Dixon. Now, Rosenquist and Ericsson are on similar strategies here. It's fresh Firestone, Speedway fuel. Marcus Ericsson has been happy with the car this weekend. You know, think about the difference. This is as far opposite of Formula One as you can get, a short oval, and he loves these experiences in IndyCar.
Did almost 100 Formula One Grand Prix, Marcus Ericsson, but now lives in Indianapolis and really has found a stable footing in IndyCar. He loves the series, loves the variety. Another lap complete for Pato O'Ward. 43 to go.
He also spends a lot of time with this guy right here, Scott Dixon. They ride bikes together, they train together, all the teammates, Rosenquist as well. So a great working team. Hinch.
The 88 car in the pits, kind of the last chance for Andretti Autosport to try to get a solid result. The 18 is also in. Colton Herder is down and away. It looks like a clean stop so far for the Dale Coyne Racing team. Oh no, we got a problem on the outside front. The right front, they've not got the tire on yet. Finally gets them away, but guys, another great run for Santino Ferrucci has all come undone here in pit lane.
Unbelievable. Last year, Santino Ferrucci had a win in the bag until the final pit stop. This year, once again, issues. Watch the right front. Wheel goes on, no wheel nut, I think, as the right front tire changer is trying to get a spare, so he must have lost it on the exchange.
He's been riddled this year with bad pit stops, and the final stop again is a bad one, and we'll see how this all cycles out. He was running so well And now he has fallen down to 17.
Oh, look at this. Herder and Ericsson going at it.
Ericsson's coming back on Colton Herder. Who's going to be braver in the 3? It's Colton Herder.
Clear.
Whoa, gets a little loose in the center of the corner as well. Went in there with a lot of speed. VK also having a look as well.
That battle between those two guys will really help Award and Dixon with a little bit of breathing room when they do decide to pit, as we see the replay again of Ericsson making the move down the front straightaway to the high side.
That was there on the outside. Looks like got a little bit loose. Herder hung tough on the bottom and was able to keep it. Little loose right there coming off the corner for Ericsson.
It's difficult to articulate, but in this section of the track where we did our pre-race show up the top of the grandstand, you look down on this, it looks like they're going around the outside of a dining room table. It is tight, and they're approaching there, broaching 200 miles an hour. Top 2 are in. Pato Award, Scott Dixon, final stop of the race, or what should be.
And the battle will be on pit stops for sure. Let's see what happens.
So this is very likely going to go a long ways towards determining the race. Pato Award, the 21-year-old Mexican, is going to hit his box first. Scott Dixon has the advantage of being pit out, an easy in for him. Award's Arrow McLaren crew has another really strong stop. Now he's going to race. Can the Chip Ganassi Racing PNC Bank crew beat him? And they will!
He got him.
Ganassi gets out first. Dixon takes over control.
I thought that was an amazing stop by the McLaren team, but Dixon just laid it down on those guys.
That's what 30 years of IndyCar racing will do. Chip Ganassi Racing celebrating its 30th anniversary. There's Chip, and he'll be pumped about that. Disappointed last week not to win the 500. Dixon was frustrated that the race didn't finish under green, but maybe he will make up for it. Well, nothing makes up for not winning the 500, but this will go a long way if he can get another win and extend his championship points lead. He came in here with an 84-point buffer over Joseph Newgarden.
Tell you what, Pato Award's got to watch Herder right there behind him. He's coming on real strong here.
The old teammates from the Indy Lights days. Award beat Herder to the championship in 2018, but Colton beat Award to his first IndyCar win, and in fact he's got 2 to Award's none. We'll see how this shakes out over the final 35 laps of this race.
Just half a second separates Pato Award from Scott Dixon on track. It's those precious tenths of a second that we always talk about on pit lane. Let's see where it might have gone wrong, Paul, for Pato Award.
I don't really think anything went wrong. He hit the box a little, just a hair short and in tight, but it looked like a pretty clean stop. But those stops that Dixon did at the Indy 500 were down in the 5-6 second range, and they just hit it perfectly.
Everybody at Arrow McLaren SP analyzing that stop. Their youngster's still got a shot at the victory, but he's going to have to wrestle. Scott Dixon, one of the biggest names ever in IndyCar racing. Welcome back to NBC Sports coverage of the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. 250 miles today, another 250 tomorrow. And you're looking at Scott Dixon, who was able to leapfrog the Arrow McLaren SP of Pato Award, who has led almost 100 laps of this race. But the youngster sees the master out in front, and was the master doing some exceptional fuel save a little bit while he was behind Award. It's up for discussion, isn't it? Maybe he took less fuel, Award needed more. The end result was the Chip Ganassi Racing driver in that PNC Bank Honda beat him off pit road.
Well, he was certainly never further than a second behind Award, and it's obviously pretty evident now that he was able to save a little bit more fuel, Townsend, and have a slightly shorter stop. Which, when you're Dixon, that's how you know how to play the game. As Sato comes to pit road.
So he was knocking on the door of the top 5, Sato, even though he is going to pit from the lead. of the race, he was in the top 5, 6 legitimately. So let's see where he cycles out in relation to Scott Dixon and also Joseph Newgarden here in the Hitachi Chevrolet. Kev?
Hey, also a note on Will Power. He came in way early. Well, we found out they had a right rear puncture, so it wasn't just trying to really do something different on strategy, and maybe it's a little iffy. They can get there. So Newgarden in and out, and Sato gives up the lead of the race. Remember, he won this last year, but that's going to be slow on the right rear. So any chance they had to be able to do the overcut by staying out longer and gain track position probably went away there by just losing a teeny bit of time on pit lane.
Here comes Dixon.
Didn't lose a ton of time, but he's still going to cycle out, I think, inside the top 5 or 6. But
I think he might be top 3.
He had a shot there, and maybe even coming out in the lead with the way that stop went. But look, he cycles out in 3rd right now. So without that mistake, he could have grabbed the lead on that.
Absolutely. Herder's going to be all over him, though, on this run up the front straight. Is Colton Herder close enough to do anything about Sato?
Good job.
Sato's up to speed very effectively in that Honda for Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. Good work.
Herder's 5 back now.
These guys are all stacked up on top of each other now, running quick laps.
Paul, to your point, Sato's only 2.3 seconds back of Dixon. He must have lost more than that on pit lane.
Easily, because the outside rear had a problem getting the nut on, and it was definitely very late. So that was really a shot at the win right there. Hate to add insult to injury, but that's the guy that was changing the tire. He was shaking his head right after the pit stop. He was so frustrated when the car left.
Well, there's always so much pressure put on the team members to perform. It's hot. There's a lot of pressure.
But hey, 3rd place
is still
would be terrific for Sato. Let's watch this again.
Out. The outside, you'll see him start fumbling around here. So he can't get the nut off right there. It's not coming off, gets it off. And then getting it back on was a problem. So he easily lost a couple seconds there. That could have been the winning move.
I just timed that at 11.3 seconds. So
here we go.
Sato, though.
Inside.
It don't matter. Whoa.
Hold on, both of you.
Clear.
Are you kidding me? Takuma Sato, that was awesome.
The Indy 500 champ, he wants another win.
Big picture. You're okay.
And he just laid it on the line there to Pato Award.
Paul,
that was back to the wild thing.
We've seen some big moves here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. We've never seen this.
Big runoff with turn 4, timed it perfectly. Pato tried to protect the inside. Sato's got the momentum, but turns in. He's still there. Huge save by Pato Award.
By 15.
That was incredible.
Whoa.
How about that, Kev?
Hey, Townsend, remember that conversation we had with Takuma earlier when I asked him about championship wins? He said, no, I really want to finish up as high as I can in the championship. We'll take wins if they're available, but I'm thinking big picture. No, he's still going after it, and that's fun to watch.
You know, we talk about Rossi going angry fast, Alexander Rossi after issues, but Takuma Sato, after that unfortunate pit stop, has hit the reset button, and he says, you know, I still have a chance, and now Sato going after Dixon with authority.
The same two who finished in the top 2 a week ago for the Indianapolis 500. Here they are, less than a week later, fighting for the win in the first of the doubleheader days in the NTT IndyCar Series here in St. Louis. And what is the gap? 1.2 seconds, and it's come down from 1.5. Sato is reeling Dixon in.
0.3 of a second quicker on that lap, 0.2 on this lap, James. If I'm Dixon, I better have eyes in the back of my head.
Yeah, but as you know, guys, catching is one thing and passing is another. There's no guy tougher to pass than Scott Dixon. But I just got to say, I mean, what 500 hangover? Normally, it's almost a curse, the race after the 500 for the guy that won it. But Takuma Sato is coming here and proving that he has still got the energy to fight up front, really taking the fight to Scott Dixon. No doubt helped out by reduced media commitments this week. But, man, super impressive performance coming off a 500 win.
Jumps up to 4th now in the championship from 6th. So right now, tracking the best of his career in terms of championship.
0.8 of a second now is the gap. 0.8 of a second down from 1.5 just 2 laps ago. Here comes Sato.
And Scott Dixon is lapping about 0.6 of a lap quicker than Santino Ferrucci, the last car on the lead lap. And Ferrucci doesn't have a whole lot to give before he starts to fall into the clutches of Dixon. So that's what could slow up Dixon and help Sato, is if Dixon catches lap traffic.
It gapped a Ward. He's 5 seconds back now. So this is the race to the finish with 15 to go.
14 laps to go.
The last driver to win an Indianapolis 500 and then the very next race was one Pablo Montoya 20 years ago. Can Takuma Sato do that? A guy who has raced JPM in both Formula One and in IndyCar. They could share that nice little stat in common. And he's down to 0.6 of a second behind Dixon now.
Last lap, 25.3 for Sato, 25.6, so 0.3 quicker on that lap, Townsend, and the gap is closing.
At Indy, Sato made his move early on Dixon. I wonder if he maybe does the opposite, saves his tires, because Dixon will almost certainly catch the tail end of the lead lap and get slowed up by Ferrucci.
12 laps to go this time by.
Keeping Sato informed what the lap count is, how far to go. You're right there with him.
Again, 1/10 of a lap quicker. He's now within the range hitch where the turbulence gets real bad. So if he's going to have an opportunity, they're going to come up on lapped cars here pretty soon, close to the end of the race. That might open up the door. There's Santino right there.
Further back, Rinus VK has done a really nice job to be the lead rookie in the top 6, the head of Hunter Ray, Rosenquist, Kanaan, and Daly. Look at this. How could we have imagined this to be the case when at Indy these guys dueled it out over the closing laps, and then the race unfortunately finished under caution because of that crash suffered by Spencer Pigot. By the way, Spencer is okay. He communicated with us earlier today, but the race is on for the win of the Bommarito Automotive Group 500, leg number 1.
Will Power coming out.
Oh no, Will.
A little bit of a pick here. Hopefully he gets out of the way. Sato's really just got to time the exit. He's so much faster through the corner, but he's got to time the exit to get a run down the front straightaway. That time advantage Dixon. He was 0.3 quicker than Sato on that lap.
There's Ferrucci, there's Dixon. So Dixon continues to close on lap traffic. Sato continues to close on Dixon. It's going to be really tricky at the finish here if Dixon closes all the way up on Ferrucci. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it could be close.
Lap traffic is going to be a key factor in the finish of this race. As Sato continues to close, last time around, it was about even.
There's plenty of traffic ahead too, including Townsend. You mentioned Santino Ferrucci. Ahead of him is Alex Palou, Oliver Askew, and then you have Charlie Kimball. So it's not just a single car.
And the best part is all of those cars, Lee, are on the lead lap, and they're all battling for position right now.
So this gap has stabilized. It's 0.4 of a second, it's 0.6 of a second, it's half a second. It's now as close as it's been at 0.35 of a second. The chase is on by the man who says no attack, no chance.
He's got a nice run through the center of the corner.
Dixon got a little wide there. Wonder if he's just trying to take a little bit of air away from Takuma Sato to the high side.
Let's not lose sight of the fact that Scott Dixon, who is masterful out in front. Dixon's led 22 laps in this race. He is racing for career victory 50 in an incredible, glittering and continuing career in IndyCar racing.
And I think Dixon's close enough now to Ferrucci up front that it's got to start disturbing the air across the front wing of that number 9 car. I know it looks like 25 car lengths, but James Hinchcliffe, you know that it's really tough when you start to catch a lap car. All of a sudden that clean air handling has gone away.
Yeah, that sort of half-second distance is where it really starts getting messy. That's where Sato's been able to sit, but he was able to use those fresh tires and that lighter fuel load to catch him. Like I said, passing's a different part. I almost wonder if Dixon's trying to keep him back there and not catch up to Ferrucci to not feel that effect and just try to keep that clean air on his car with 4 to go.
He's got 2 bubbles to play with, one in front, one in back. Nobody knows how to keep somebody behind better than Scott Dixon. An absolute master at managing these situations.
Yeah, he's an absolute master at just managing the gap and managing the distance, but I don't think he wants to get too close to the lap cars in front of him because he's doing enough right now to just keep Sato behind him.
He's slowed down about half a second, Scott Dixon has, over these last 2 laps.
Two and a half to go.
Like I said, I think he's just managing the gap. He doesn't want to catch those guys.
Oh, Sato with a good run.
What a tough situation. You don't want to get too close, but you know you've got this guy, the Indy 500 champ, breathing down your neck. 2.5 miles to go.
He's getting closer. He's reeling him in. This is as close as he's been. He's really got to just set this corner up and get the exit.
And you know that Sato will not be afraid to have a go. White flag coming up.
Oh boy.
One more lap here in St. Louis.
One more lap.
Can Scott Dixon do it for win number 50, or will Sato win in back-to-back weeks and back-to-back years here at Worldwide Technology Raceway? It's going to be tough from now.
He just washed up the track a little bit, but he's still right there. Dixon's got dirty air.
Dixon's as close as he's been to dirty air in front. Sato with a run off turn 4.
Scott Dixon is going to be the 11th different winner here from 11 races. Unbelievable finish. Dixon is a 50-time IndyCar winner and gets some semblance of revenge for last weekend in another thriller.
Good job there, man.
Between Dixon and Sato.
What a race. And that, guys, that would have been a completely different scenario if it wasn't for the bad pit stop on Sato's final stop.
No doubt. Sato should have been to the front easily, but so many times this year we've seen pit lane, the drama, the anxiety, the pressure on pit lane has just been at an all-time high in this 2020 season. But once again, that 9 crew, they know how to get it done. They have so much winning experience.
They know how to get it done. With that victory, it's win number 4 on the year for Scott Dixon. That means he has won 50% of the races this year. And what an incredible 2020 for that PNC Bank Honda team.
And a mammoth points lead of 117 points.
Well, let's go to the boss of the team, the man behind the name with James.
Guys, he says it all the time. Chip Ganassi, you like winners. Scott Dixon has now done it 50 times, 49 times for you. What else can you say about him that hasn't already been said at this milestone?
Well, I mean, that was a textbook Scott Dixon race today. You know, steady, one at a time, here, there, nothing fancy. Couldn't be more happy for him.
That's great. He has a monumental lead in the championship now. Is it kind of cruise and collect for you guys? Are you going to play it safe, or are you going for more race wins?
No. There's plenty to do yet.
And still a great top 5 with Marcus Ericsson as well.
We're happy for him as well.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
it. Chip Ganassi, absolutely thrilled.
A lot of young guys, but the veterans, Townsend, the 2 old guys come in 1-2, but look at all the young guys. Award, Herder, Ericsson, VK. Fill out 3rd to 7th.
So as Dixon climbs from his car, this checkered flag moment brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. How good does that feel? This track has this uncanny trend of producing a different winner every time, and it's happened again. 11 races here at St. Louis, 11 different winners. And this was one track that had eluded the Kiwi. It eludes him no more. And as I said, that will be some semblance of satisfaction and revenge for last weekend, where he felt he should have and knows he definitely could have won the Indianapolis 500 for a second time.
So the list was already short. It was A.J. Foyt, Mario Andretti. That doesn't change. Scott Dixon is still 3rd on that list, but this is a big round number. What does 50 mean to you, Scott?
Yeah, it's certainly awesome. I can't thank the PNC Bank crew enough. You know, that was superb race all day. Sato was coming strong at the end, and I didn't realize how strong he was coming, and we were kind of going into a bit of reserve mode, look after the engine, and then he was coming with a head of steam. So just so happy for this team. You know, last week at Indianapolis was a bit of a bummer. So it was nice to get a win. 50, that sounds awesome. Got to keep on trucking and get a few more, but can't thank Honda enough too. Honda and HPD, proud to be powered by them and what they've done, especially this year, is just phenomenal, and how quick their cars have been. So this is awesome. Thank you.
Talk about the adjustment from going from Indianapolis, and this is an oval, but that's the only similarity, and how different this is and how challenging it is.
Yeah, I definitely found it, the first time I went kind of fast around here on yesterday, and you go into the corner and the loadings are just so different, so high, and then so long as well. Indianapolis is kind of quick sort of jolts at it, but that's what's so cool about the NTT IndyCar Series, is that you have so many different disciplines. Normally we go from Indianapolis to the duel in Detroit, but it's so cool to be here in St. Louis, and a huge thank you to all the fans here coming out. We know it's difficult times, and we thank you so much for sticking by us.
You were right there in the hunt all race and may have still gotten to the front on the track, but you got the lead in the pits. Does that seem appropriate that you celebrate a big milestone with your pit crew having a lot to do with it?
Yeah, he was definitely pushing hard. I could tell that he was quite quick on a sort of a 5 to 10 lap pace. Pato, I hadn't seen Sato the whole race. He obviously was pretty quick as well, and the Wolfpack there on the 9-car, PNC Van crew there just nailed it on that last stop, and were able to pop out, and that's what you got to do. You got to make these situations work, and another big day for points too, which is great.
Well done. Win number 50 puts Scott Dixon a good way towards championship number 6.
Oh yeah. And Takuma Sato, who gave chase just so valiantly. That was an awesome finish, and I think one that got away. You can see Taku's disappointment on the other side, Dixon's elation. And how about that race finish? Yet again, second week in a row. Takuma Sato, Scott Dixon. Dixon with the win. Sato, James Hinchcliffe put up such a terrific chase. That move on O'Ward, and then went out and hunted Dixon down. Incredible.
He certainly did, as he gets an embrace from his race engineer, Eddie Jones. And Takuma, normally winning the 500 is kind of a curse for the next race, but I guess nobody told you that. Second place finish, I know that's got to make you feel good, but oh so close to going back-to-back. Tell us about it.
I think obviously Tim did a fantastic job. Since last week, we carried a lot of momentum, and we lost some places at the beginning of the race. I wasn't entirely comfortable in the car, but we fought strong. Big congrats on the Ganassi and Dixon for the fantastic win, but my number 30, a beam car, was phenomenal. So yeah, it's a great job.
Were you guys really confident in that overcut strategy? If not for the problem in pit lane, do you think this would have been your race to lose?
It sometimes happens in a race. I make a mistake, and there's a mechanical failure sometimes, and the pit stop, yes, obviously was frustrated, but everybody's on the same feeling, and at least the 30 boys did a fantastic job 2 weeks in a row, so I'm very proud of them.
And you took that frustration on track and you really used it to good advantage. We're going to take a look here at the pass on Pato O'Ward. That was one of the most commanding passes we've ever seen here. Walk us through it.
Yeah, he was close. I thought if he was too close maybe, but this is towards the end of the he wasn't winning, but it's for the podium, and obviously he did a phenomenal job for this time, and we had a great fun.
Congratulations on another podium, and he's up to 4th place in the points. Kevin?
And let's hear the other side of that battle on track with Pato O'Ward. Another fantastic finish for you in 3rd, but what do you think when you see Sato coming at you there and then just trying to hang on?
Yeah, man, I mean, I thought we had very strong pace, all race. We rolled out of the gates with this Harvey number 5 Chevrolet, very strong. I mean, the guys gave me a very, very strong car right off the bat. It was very consistent throughout the run. But just in the end, I don't know what these guys do, but Dixon obviously got in front of us in the pits, but he left us. And then when I saw Taku coming behind, I didn't think he had so much more pace than us, but as soon as he passed us, he left us, man. I mean, I was kind of in a race on my own towards the end, just trying to defend from Herder and I think Marcus that was behind him. But I think there's some very, very solid points for the championship. We'll be working for that win tomorrow. Hopefully we can be fighting for it closer to the end of the race.
Big picture now. Last year was a whirlwind, racing in 3 or 4 different series and not finishing any season. Now here in this year, you've got a 2nd, a 3rd, a 4th. Where are you at from where you were, say, this time last year as a race car driver?
I think we're in a fantastic place. I really owe a lot to this Harvey McLaren SP group. they are the ones that gave me the chance. They are the ones that believed in me and ultimately gave me a chance to showcase and to push forward with what we can do. And I truly think we can achieve great things. We're working on it, but it's Dixie and Sato. They've been in the series so long, and they're guys that are not easy to beat. So we're just gonna keep working at it, and I'm sure our win will come, and we just have to keep adding on points in the end. Every point is gold.
Normally you have to wait a year to take what you learned at a particular track to put it to use. You get to come back tomorrow. What did you learn today that might help you get that first win tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we can just fine-tune the car a little bit, try and get it a bit more into a window where it can be a little bit easier to drive, especially in the end when you're really pushing. But I was pretty happy out there. I think we ran a very solid race. Just towards the end is where we kind of just have to look back and really see what happened, because I truly thought we had a great pit stop. We had a good in and out lap, but apparently it wasn't good enough.
Yeah, Scott Dixon had a really good pit stop, and he's won 50 times, so no negative there for you. Great job. Pato O'Ward comes home third, and he will start fourth tomorrow afternoon.
And it was very good to hear the positivity in his voice and in his comments, Kevin, as well. I know how frustrated he was at Road America not to get that win, but that win was not achievable today just by the late race pace there and that stop of Dixon and the Ganassi squad and the pace of Sato. But take that second career podium. He's actually closer to Joseph Newgarden in the overall points for second. We'll talk about that a little later. Fellas, for the time being, let's review the results. We know the top three. Great result from Colton Herder.
Really strong job from Colton. Held off Marcus Ericsson, who was hard charging today. Ericsson, I think, a great result. Top 5 on the oval. And then Rinus VK Paul battled back from some earlier challenges. Pitted earlier, tried to make it work, and he did make it work. Comes home 6th.
Big shout out to the old man, Tony Kanaan, in the top 10. With his big machine vodka car. That's a great result for him. And Joseph Newgarden, disappointing 12th. That's not great for the championship.
Kind of feel for Jack Harvey there, who was running as high as 4th, and then kind of just got caught out on that pit stop cycle with the yellow, and he ends up just outside the top 10.
And for Santino Ferrucci, frustration once again. Second year in a row here that he has issues on the final pit stop. He comes home on the lead lap, but in 16th.
Will Power looked for a strategy that could get him to the winner's circle if there was a yellow, but unfortunately he had to pit again and ends up 2 laps down.
Isn't that a terrific sign? Scott Dixon, a 50-time IndyCar winner, and has put his place in the history books well and truly. Podium celebration here for the Bommarito Automotive Group 500. We're halfway through. 250 miles complete today. Another 250 tomorrow. It could be back-to-back wins. Who knows? It might be win number 51 for Scott Dixon. But the man to his right, who he battled at the end there, Takuma Sato, he will be he's the number 1 qualifier for tomorrow. And the youngster, Pato O'Ward, what an honor for him to share the podium with Scott Dixon, as much as it is an honor for Scott Dixon to share these kind of historic numbers with AJ Foyt and Mario Andretti. And who knows, Dixon could find himself in 2nd place on wins all time before this 2020 season is out. Time to join James Hinchcliffe. Hinch, what you got?
Down here in pit lane with Colton Herder and Jack Harvey. Colton, we'll start with you. You had a pretty eventful race, came up a little bit, caught a lucky yellow, found yourself in a podium position late in the race, and then what happened? I feel like you're probably surprised you saw the 30 come out in front of you.
Yeah, I couldn't really hear anything you said, but I think yeah, we had a pretty solid race, 10th to 4th, and Capstone Honda was very strong, and I think everybody kind of struggled to pass, but we really had good stops and a really good strategy to catch the yellow and come out at the end and overcut Ericsson. That I thought we had the podium, but then Takuma came out and totally surprised everyone on track, I think, and then yeah, but overall great race.
Solid move for you, solid day in the points as well. Jack, we'll move on to you. It looked like it was going to be another top 10 to keep the streak going. I feel like I may have jinxed you pre-race. I'm sorry I did that. But you had a great race going until the yellow. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I started 7th, finished the first lap in 5th, went 3 wide with Takuma and Joseph in turn 3, and came out ahead. I think we undercut Marcus on the next sequence, and then that yellow just really flips that race completely upside down. So obviously disappointed for everybody at Meyer Racing and everybody on the AutoNation number 60 Sirius XM car. So starting 5th tomorrow. Hopefully we just make a few more gains and try and move a bit further up.
Okay, so what did you learn today that you can apply for tomorrow to try and get that car and stay in the top 5?
I think for us anyway, there was a super fine line between having a car that was too understeering, I got some vibrations, and trying to balance the car that was really free, and then made me feel like I was having a few heart palpitations. So I think there's just a little bit of a better balance that we can find, and yeah, just want to see the number 60 end up further at the front.
Well, another shot for both these guys tomorrow. Jack Harvey will roll off in 5th, Colton Herder in 10th. Kevin Lee.
It was a good day for Chip Ganassi Racing. Not only Scott Dixon celebrating a win, but Marcus Ericsson with his best finish on an oval. Tell me about your day here today.
Yeah, I think it was a good day, to be honest. You know, we had a good practice yesterday, and then I think qualifying was really positive. It was my best qualifying in IndyCar with P4 in the grid for race 1, so that was really good. I think the race, the way it panned out, we had a really good car, but a bit better in free air than in traffic, I would say. So, but yeah, still, you know, we were in the mix for that podium, and obviously when you are in that mix, you want to be on the podium as well. But I think still P5 is a good result.
You know, this feels like as far away as you could be from racing Formula One at Monaco or Spa. So how are you taking to these short ovals in IndyCar?
I love them. You know, already last year I was on for a really strong result in Iowa, and throw that away in the end with a mistake from my side. But then again this year, you know, I think I've been on for some good runs on the ovals, but haven't really got a big result. So this wasn't maybe a big result, but it was a good result. So I'm quite happy with that. And yeah, I really enjoy it out there on the ovals. You know, especially with the Ganassi car. You know, the Husky Chocolate car. It's really good. And obviously with Honda, the steps they've made, it's just a nice car to drive.
I've heard Connor Daly say that one of the reasons he likes this track because it feels like a road course with really fast corners. Do you see anything like that you can take your previous experience to apply pretty quickly here?
Yeah, it does feel a bit like that, you know, especially turn 1, 2. You sort of break a little bit into there and you have to carry the speed, be precise with the line. So that corner is definitely reminding you of a road course fast corner. And then 3, 4 obviously is a lot more open, less banking. So that's what I like with this track. It's so different, the two ends of the track. So it's a challenge for both the setup of the car, but also for the driving, because you need to be very different in the driving style in the two ends.
So what I'm sensing here is why I think you may be on the cusp of a win. You had a good day today. You finished 5th, and I think you're a little disappointed because I think you feel like there's a little more and you can move further up.
Yeah, that's 100% right. You know, I think last week out in the 500 we had a car to fight for a win, I believe, and I crashed out early, which was disappointing, but I still felt really fired up going here to Gateway and sort of to bounce back and show what I can do, and I think that's what we did today. But you know, we're not here to be P5, we're here to win, so we're going to try and get that tomorrow.
That's the attitude. Marcus Ericsson 5th today. He'll start 7th tomorrow afternoon.
That's that positivity we were talking about a little earlier in the broadcast. Hey, a reminder, the gang is standing by from Daytona International Speedway. NASCAR America kicks things off at the top of the hour when we're done. Cup Series racing an hour later at 7 p.m. on NBC on the network. And it is the final race of the regular season before the line in the sand is drawn to see who makes the playoffs. We're not done yet, though, from Worldwide Technology Raceway. We are wrapping up the first leg of a doubleheader weekend here in St. Louis. And we now need to take a look at the Children's Miracle Network moment of the race. What it was Arrow McLaren SP up against Chip Ganassi Racing. And Scott Dixon on the right-hand side of your screen there. The 9 team did an incredible service, and they beat the youngster off pit road. Speaking of youngsters, the youngest in the field is Rinus VK from Holland, and he did a tremendous job. Great drive today from him, James Hinchcliffe.
It was a tremendous drive indeed, up to 6th place from 14th on the grid. So Rinus, just walk us through your day a little bit.
Yeah, it was a really good race. Of course, qualifying wasn't ideal, but no, it was great, and we got out of the mess at the start of the race, and we could really attack on the restart. So we run away to the podium, but then the yellow for the rain kind of screwed us, but then came back super strong again. So yeah, P6, very happy with it.
You made some great passes on track, and you guys really used that undercut strategy to good effect. You kind of pitted early right off the beginning, and you were always on the early side of the window. Was that the plan from the get-go, or did you guys make that call during the race?
Yeah, it was kind of the plan. I saw, I was kind of stuck in traffic, and based on like what we did in Indy GP, we also got the undercut, and we could really gain time on our own. So yeah, it worked again, and I'm just very happy with the team with their amazing strategies.
Seem to be running pretty well here. Are you looking forward to another chance at it tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward. Starting 18th, so a little more back to the grid, but yeah, we have a strong car, so I think we can do the same again.
This is a fast, short oval. People kind of talk about it more like two fast road course corners. How is the physicality out there compared to other short ovals?
Well, it wasn't that hot this time, so it was okay, but yeah, it's heavier than Indy. Like when you get here, it just, you have to brake in traffic coming into turn 1 and 2, so it's a lot different, but yeah, it's quite physical because you don't have a lot of rest, but it's a bit better than Iowa.
Perfect. Well, you got a night to rest. You got another chance at it tomorrow, so best of luck. Congratulations on a great finish today. Kevin.
Ryan Hunter-Reay chatting with Takuma Sato, just came over after another strong run today. Comes home 7th. So, Ryan, you seem to lead the league in bad luck, and there's even to the point there's a cartoon anvil sticker on your helmet, so kind of gallows humor. Big crash at the beginning. There's a positive. You weren't in it.
No anvil today. It was great. Yeah, we could actually get on with our job and go out there and race. Yeah, we had good pace. We just tried to come in a little early there on that first stop, and got hosed by the yellow. Had to get the wave around and work our way back up from I think 14th or so. So finishing 7th all in all isn't a bad day, but we had a bit more speed in the car. It's just really tough out there. Once you get close in turns 3 and 4. The cars just get light, everybody, so everybody's trying to find that little bit of downforce, but solid top 10 for the 28 DHL car, but we're not happy with that. That's not what we're here to do. So hopefully tomorrow we can get this thing up front, go get a podium.
This is a tough weekend because there was only 1 hour of practice, and you spent a lot of that practice yesterday on pit lane, first with some brake issues, and then working on the handling. In some ways, I know you wanted a result today, but was today a big, long test session that maybe tomorrow can be your day?
Absolutely. All considering today was great. I had no laps yesterday, basically just outs and in laps. We had a rear brake failure, a rear brake issue, and went into qualifying with no laps, so I just had to go ahead and just send it in there and figure out where it was going to end up, and we qualified 8th and finished 7th. So all in all, with no practice, I think this team did a great job, and pit crew did a great job on pit lane. They worked really hard on that, too. So move on to tomorrow.
Thanks, Ryan. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, it was a crazy start to this race with that 6-car pileup, and 3 of the 6 cars belong to Andretti Autosport. So some good fortune there for Ryan Hunter-Reay. Solid top 10, like he said. See what he can do tomorrow. He loves short ovals, and he has been strong here over the years. Maybe he's tomorrow's winner. We'll see.
Felix Rosenquist comes home 8th, but it was anything but a straightforward race. Remember, he was 4th on that last restart, and you guys documented it. That was a wild run, just hanging on and trying not to hit a wall or somebody else. Talk us through that.
Yeah, in the restart, I kind of got a bad jump, going side by side with the 88 in here. Yeah, just going throttle, and then it gets loose, and yeah, it's really lucky to save it there. The steering weight gets really heavy when the car catches, and yeah, I mean, it was a shame we went from 4th to 9th there. I think otherwise we could have probably been, top 5, top 6, but it's my best oval finish, so, we'll take that. Congrats to the 9. I think the whole Ganassi team did a really good race, and the NTT Data car was really quick, and came back from a pretty tough day yesterday. So yeah, tomorrow we pretty much start where we ended now. So yeah, hopefully can do a top 5 tomorrow.
All right, one more chance to get it right this weekend for Felix Rosenquist, Hinch.
The Big Machine Vodka Chevy for AJ Foyt Racing with Tony Kanaan at the helm was the biggest mover today, up 12 spots. Walk us through your day.
Not bad for an old man. I mean, it started with my heart rate going up to the roof on the start. I mean, that whole accident happened in front of me, so I was extremely cautious. We gained a few positions there, and we top off on that yellow, and it helped us a lot. Track position was really important. We had a good race pace. A little hiccup in the middle of the race. Our rear bar got stuck at full stiff, which you don't want to do that here, and but we managed. So good result for us.
I don't
think you really want the rear bar stuck anywhere, but that's just me. Now, Tony, you're a veteran of over 380 IndyCar starts. Tomorrow is going to be your last one of 2020. How do you sleep tonight? How do you feel?
Look, Hinch, it's a mixed feelings. You know, I mean, we've been talking all week. I mean, we spend more time together than I spend with my wife, I think, at the gym. But very emotional, I have to say. You know, although I expressed my feelings that I want to come back, I don't know if that's going to happen. So I'm gonna take it as it is. I'm gonna do my best, like I did today. I'm still enjoying it a lot. I can't complain. I had a good run. So I have 2 wishes for next year. First one, you to get a full ride. Second one, if I can get for 5 races, I'll be more than happy. If I don't, I might come watch you guys all year long.
There you go. Hey, you're welcome on my stand any day, brother. We'll see you in the gym. But
yes, sir.
You have another chance tomorrow. Rolling off 19th, a little bit better.
Well, 2 positions better than today, maybe 2 positions at the end tomorrow. So big thanks to Big Machine for the help. The car looks beautiful. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.
The car does look great. Let's see if we can get it a little further up tomorrow. Kevin Lee.
And I know Connor Daly didn't start where he wanted to, but has always raced here. So tell me about your day from 16th, place that was difficult to pass to get to 10th.
Yeah, well, honestly, we were making the right calls. The Chevrolet, everyone at Carlin, they gave me what I needed today. The car was fantastic. But the mythical rain yellow, I just did like 3 of the fastest laps of the race in a row, and then it went yellow for rain. So I guess our car's fast in the wet. I don't know. It was really weird. And it kind of just ruined the strategy because we were planning on undercutting Colton because I think we had a pretty good car and we seemed to be quicker than him. Obviously, it worked out for those guys. He finished 4th. It was tough after that because we had to come from pretty far back. So wild day. And I know Will was not too pleased with the old rain yellow either. So it is what it is. You know, these things happen.
All right, better luck tomorrow for Connor Daly, Diff.
Yeah, you think about Will Power, who started on the pole position and finished in 17th. That was a great race for Connor Daly. Connor will make his final appearance for Carlin tomorrow in the second leg of this 500-mile doubleheader weekend. Your eyes aren't deceiving you. Yes, you are seeing that correct. A triple-digit lead for Scott Dixon, looking very close, more closely at a 6th NTT IndyCar Series title. Pato O'Ward took 20 points out of the deficit to Joseph Newgarden, so he gets closer to maybe, possibly moving up into second position. And I think, Paul Townsend, one of you made this point before, Sato leapfrogs his way into the top 4.
Yeah, he certainly does, but a real bad day, uncharacteristically bad day for Penske Racing. Newgarden, Pagenaud out early, and then problems for Will Power, had to make an extra pit stop at the end.
All right, let's hear from Santino Ferrucci, who was in the mix today.
Certainly in the mix. He was the star of the show here last year and was putting on another great performance, up a ton of spots, running inside the top 5, and then a pit stop undid it all. How do you feel?
Man, it's hard to put words on it. We had a tough first stint because no practice, just trying to figure it out, and, you know, restarted, somehow magically found 5 spots, and we've been having some issues all year with the stops, and unfortunately this one cost us a little bit bigger, and this one really hurt, but you know, it's part of the game, man.
Do you think you have a legitimate shot at a podium tomorrow with another shot at it?
I think we got a little bit of work to do tonight, but yeah, I think we play our cards right. JV calls a good strategy again, and we can definitely be up there.
Awesome. Well, best of luck. Always anything can happen in these races. We'll look for the number 18 to move up the field. Guys.
JV calling a good strategy. That is 1996 IndyCar champ Jimmy Vasser, one of the co-owners of the team. You can understand the frustration there, but another chance to rebound tomorrow. And Takuma Sato, who almost got that win today, will start on the pole position alongside Joseph Newgarden tomorrow.
Looking back there to row 2, Will Power will be able to hopefully make up from a difficult day. Unlucky today with the way the yellows fell, but Scott Dixon will be coming from 6th position, trying to repeat it, make it 2 in a row. Paul, these guys need to stop Dixon from doing that.
Alexander Rossi, horribly frustrating day. He's just got to go for wins. Connor Daly, Santino needs redemption as well.
And let's hope we get a good clean start tomorrow, unlike today's 6-car pileup that was very uncharacteristic with that massive crash before the green even flew. Let's look for a cleaner one tomorrow. So in speaking of tomorrow, we'll be back, same channel, same time, 3 o'clock Eastern, NBC SN for the second part of the doubleheader. And tonight it's all happening in Daytona. Cup Series racing from 7 p.m. Eastern. It's the last race, of course, before the playoffs. And the question begs, who can make the cut? We congratulate Scott Dixon on a career-high 50 wins. Right now, let's go to Chris DeVoda and the team.